Welcome everyone to another Tech Talk, which will be this time presented by me. I'm usually organizing it and someone else is a speaker, but this time I will be the one presenting. It will be very interesting topic and very current topic, which is about AI coding agents and how to utilize them. And it's especially divided topic because everyone has their own opinions of like how it can be used or how what is working for them, what is not working for them. And I hope that today I will be able to share my own over 2 months of experience, and you will learn something new. So let's start with this topic. So AI coding and utilization of AI agents. As I said, it's a big topic, and I was always interested in this topic as soon as I saw the first versions of ChatGPT come out, and there I was trying to use multiple approaches, like how to generate the first pieces of code, where I then started to try the OpenAI API, and I made the first application which was able to iterate and generate in loops the API based on Nest.js. And this was like, for me, it was like very cool achievement, because a lot of times when you are working on web applications or like usual ERP systems, you are doing a lot of things, uh, usually the same thing in every project. So like authorization, authentication, the whole login, logout functionality, reset password. And a lot of times you have to, especially on the backend, create endpoints which essentially repeat over projects. And figuring out like how this can be then implemented and what is the potential of these large language models and their utilization within software development was fascinating for me. So this is why for the last 2 months I tried all the all the IDs which are already like merged with these coding agents, but also coding agent plugins, to give you my opinion, like what works, what doesn't, and which ones are the best. So first, of course, we have to address the elephant in the room, which is vibe coding. And of course, like there is a part of people who will tell you that vibe coding is the most amazing thing because they don't know how to code and they will just use these tools to generate the app, right? So that's what essentially vibe coding means, that you don't have to have a clue about the code, you don't have to have a clue about the architecture, nothing. Sometimes not even the tech stack. You will just use something which you found on YouTube or somewhere on Reddit and base your application on that and just prompt your way into the application. And this is cool for those people who actually don't know how to code. They have ideas, they would like to create prototypes or validate those ideas. And for them, it's pretty great, but it has its caveats. So when you don't understand the code and what it actually generates, you are risking way too much. So there were a lot of also real examples which happened recently of applications which didn't handle users' data correctly. So some users were authorized just by little bit of changing some parameters or something like that. They were able to access others' users' data, which obviously is not something what we want. Or you have other security issues, like they just vibe coded the payment system somehow in their application, and hopefully it works. But that's a sensitive data. You have to be aware of how it's being stored, where it's going, and it's not just for fun. And I'm not even talking about the fact that a lot of these kind of stacks are focused on front end first, because that's the easiest thing, because the person can see the visuals and work with them, but they don't have to understand the backend side. So then they connect it to something like Supabase, and they don't have to care about like whole implementation. Another concern is obviously GDPR. Like there is a lot of laws and compliances which you, when you have an application, you have to follow. and you have to make sure that people have, for example, access to their data, or that you make them aware of the data that you are collecting. And when somebody who was not specifically involved in professional software development, he might skip some of these steps, and potentially, in case this gets popular, they can get themselves into trouble. So it has kind of both sides. Like, one is very cool and amazing that you have such tools at your disposal, and another one is that you have no idea what you created. And this little bit to me sounds scary. And so, like, for those who are right now listening or watching this also later, who don't have coding experiences, I still encourage you to use these kind of tools and get good at them, and create applications which you would like them to go productive. But at least get in touch with somebody who has the professional experience and can review the code, can at least like tackle those basics which every application should follow, just to make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble later. So, and of course, it works on my machine. I think that everyone knows that. Like, somehow it worked on me, then I did like Vercel publish, and now it's not working, and now my users are waiting because the website is down. So these are the kind of issues that somebody who doesn't have software development experience just doesn't know like how to what to do with it. So what we are talking about today is not vibe coding, and this is something which developers like to make fun of right now. So when software engineers who studied, including me, uh, software development even in university, and if you have a lot of years of experience, then you kind of think of software development as an art, right? Like, you over the years learn that shitty code will bite you in the ass. And this is why we over the years we tried to develop processes like code reviews, like writing tests, and many more, which will help you essentially get the good quality of the code, right? But now suddenly, when we hear that someone just generated a bunch of code and didn't even look at it, right? Then we know what can happen, and it sounds very scary. But there is a middle ground, in my opinion, where we can both benefit from these tools and at the same time deliver the quality. And this, to me, today is a big opportunity, because the companies which are not following this trend, not doing anything in this area, they can fall behind very quickly. And maybe they will not feel it in a year or two, but afterwards, when the market changes, they'll be suddenly surprised by why certain companies can offer products much cheaper or much faster, and or in higher quality, and they are just not doing that. So I think that engineers with powered by AI is a great thing, and that we should explore these kind of tools and find out like what works and what doesn't. And I think that code review still matters. So it doesn't mean that, let's say, when I use coding agent to generate me some kind of feature, that I don't have to review the code. For me, this is mandatory step, because you need to know what the application created. You need to check if the structure and the standards which were usually set in your application are being followed. And overall, like, you are still the responsible person for the output which you will then give to the customer. You as a developer are of course also responsible for the edge cases, and this is something, for example, the person maybe who is using this as just a vibe coding will not cover, because what they will do is that they will just generate a feature, but we who have experience over the years, we already can think about like, is this corner case covered, is that one covered? And we don't have to at the beginning. Like, what I usually do is that after the feature is done, then I will use this coding agent, I will describe all my concerns, like is discovered? Are you following this? Does this feature also implement some kind of functionality? And let it review the code that it created. Usually there is something which it forgot or didn't think about, so I will let him finish it, and then it's obviously time for the real code review. And this is the feedback loop which you create with the agent. It's not that you created or generate the code once and then it's done. It's very important that we learn how to interact and how to iterate. So now let's first start with the question, which one of all of these is the best coding agent? So there are multiple ones. There is also Windsurf. I didn't mention it specifically because I haven't tested it. So I don't want to give like some kind of opinion which I read on Reddit. I personally tried all of these coding agents. And let's start with the cheapest one, which is Copilot. So as you know, like Copilot is the one which was released by Microsoft and is part of the whole GitHub ecosystem. And it is quite cheap. So for $10, you can get access to not the top of the line LMs, but quite good enough. Like I think it was Sonnet 3.7, Claude Sonnet 3.7, which can help you work with it. From my experience, it has a lot of drawbacks, and those are that from the user's UX perspective, but then also from the output perspective. So from user's perspective, if I want to let's say I'm prompting the feature, and I don't like the output of the last prompt. I want to go back one step back, and try to edit the prompt. Last time I tried it, I could not. I had to literally delete my previous prompt. So before I had to copy it, just to make sure that I don't lose it, and then enhance it, and then copy it. So this kind of like basic functionalities which are in the next one, which is cursor, like are really annoying once you get used to it. But what was the real deal breaker for me is that all these agents, like it's not the same. Like they have different approaches to the service which they are providing, and it always depends on what kind of mechanisms are built within on the backend side. And in this case, for example, the Copilot, what happened to me a lot of times that it just got stuck. And it got constantly stuck. It could not figure out a lot of problems, even though I used the exact same model as with the other coding agents. So if you really are on the budget, it's cool that you can, for $10 or euros per month, get access to at least some coding agent, but you get what you pay for. So this is why I included this image, because we usually make fun of the customers, right? But this is exactly what we have to realize. And now we are getting to the cursor, and this will be maybe a little bit controversial topic, because it's one of the most beloved IDEs right now. It has complete integration with latest AI models. And for $20 per month, it was delivering quite a good value. But then, I don't know if you already noticed or already experienced this, they started to degrade in quality. And if you think about it, like those $20 per month are very, very, very low price compared to what you would pay if you would use official APIs, which are priced. So it's quite fair to the business model. So it's sustainable. But they didn't do this. So they made essentially this attractive claim and offer for all the engineers, like, hey, for $20 per month, you will get unlimited access to the basic models, and you get 500 requests for the premium ones. Like that was the deal, right? Like 2 months ago, I was amazed that we have this. But the whole time I was asking myself, like, how can they offer, or like, how are they able to afford this? And the truth is that they cannot. They just did it because to gain users, to obviously raise more capital, because the more users they have, then more investors they can get on board. And Then slowly, obviously, they want to make this profitable. And this is currently happening because they cannot burn money the whole time, right? Like they have to pay for this money to these large language model providers. So they cannot do this infinitely. And so what you started to hear a few months ago was like, at the beginning, Cursor was amazing. It was like doing exactly what I wanted, but then slowly, like I feel like right now it's giving me like shitty answers. Well, the thing is that on the backend side, they still try to they can control what is happening, and obviously once you are using it too much, they need to dial it down because they would burn just much faster. They are trying to hyper optimize all the prompts, all the requests, because they are already spending so much money that it's not worth to them. And what happened in the last few weeks is that they literally had to change the pricing model, where now when you use those premium requests, then some users get without even knowing, because this is happening so fast, the implementation, the way they put it out is not even ironed out. Like some developers even get charged like 100 euros per day, and they didn't even know that they ran out of requests, or that they actually, because you give them your credit card, right? Like they have your credit card for the subscription, $20 per month, everything is safe, great. But what happened is that they used that credit card to charge you for all those extra requests which you made, and you never agreed with that. And right now there is like a whole debate in the community where a lot of developers are like very unhappy with the current state of the Cursor. But this is like, they, of course it's their fault that they created this premise of very cheap, like amazing unlimited coding agent, right? So they obviously should take responsibility. And on the other hand, we need to think about like, is this the reality? Like, is this possible even to sustain? Like the computational power or the models, it will have to be like so much cheaper to actually make this sustainable. So this is why, unfortunately, we have to have reality check, and we should realize that this cannot go forever. And if we want something good, then we have to pay for it. And this is where I'm coming to the Claude Code. And I was so hesitant to start paying like over like 100 euros per month for another agent, like coding agent. And I've read like so many articles about it that I, at one point I told myself like, okay, so now I will just put my money on the table and I will try it out. Like if it's really that good, if it makes me more efficient, maybe there is like a potential. Okay, let me try it. And I have to tell you that after trying it out, it's one of the best options. It's the best option on the market, because they don't charge as little, and they are still, even when you pay 100 euros per month, they are still burning a lot of money. They are eating the whole cost still by themselves. But this is the more sustainable direction. I think that this kind of like ultra cheap options will then later result in like just weaker models overall, and then also the results. But with the Claude Code, when I started to use it, like I got the best results. It didn't degrade over time what I was getting from it, and for me this is the sustainable way. So a lot of people, you can right now hear and see that they are migrating to this actually solution. So how do we set up the Claude Code? And this is the interesting part, because a lot of other solutions, they are like an extension to your VS Code or Cursor or whatever IDE you are using. But or Cursor is actually the IDE by itself. It's modified VS Code with built-in functionality. But Claude Code is completely different. So it runs in the terminal. So right from the beginning, we can say that usability will not be as nice as the Cursor and all the other options, because it's more for developers. The cool part about this is that the Claude Code is made by Anthropic, And so since it runs on Claude Sonnet 4 and Claude Sonnet 4 Opus, they know what they can give you, and obviously they don't have to then nerf the model over time if the price is not worth for them. So how do you install it? You have to globally install this type of package, and then you just run Claude in your terminal, in your IDE, to just get it running, and it will just get set up by yourself. So you can open VS Code, you can open Cursor, whatever you want, and there just run the Claude command, and it will just get set up. If you are you need to log into your subscribed membership, which also, by the way, gives you access to the Claude desktop. So if you are using ChatGPT, it's the same thing. So you can cancel that subscription. You have both things in one place and start using it. The cool part about Claude Code is that you can run multiple instances at the same time, because you with the other solutions you had like one chat window, you could like run something there and you had to wait and wait and wait, and then another problem you wanted to solve, so you had to open another one. So with Claude Code, you can literally open as many terminal windows as you want. You can just run it there and cover multiple tasks at the same time. So do you have something which is boring, repetitive? Let it run in one terminal. Then I am focusing on something else. I can in the meantime use Claude Code to work on some other task or other story. This is very efficient, and there are a lot of cases where it saves you a lot of time. Of course, you have to keep in mind that when these features, if it's in the same code base, they cannot overlap, right? Because it will start to get messy and they will start to change everything like to each other. The disadvantage is that there is no clear like diff, so you cannot see like what it changed as easily as you see it in Cursor. You have to use the built-in IDEs, the diff tool, versioning tool, yeah, thank you, to actually then see what is happening. So what I usually do, when it finishes, I will go with the classical versioning tool, which we are all used to, and there I check all the things. I will stage it, and then if I want to do something else, I will have it with the unstaged version. It's like a workaround. It works very well. Sometimes you can also do it like if some part is finished, you like it, you can commit it and just go on and go on. So there are ways how to use it. So multiple terminals are amazing. And what is very cool is that you can run in, sorry. You can run this in sub-agents. So what you can do, if you have repetitive tasks, for example, or something which can run in parallel, and this is something maybe like, I'm pretty sure that like 99% of people don't know this. If you tell him to run this with sub-agents, the Claude Code will spin multiple agents within one chat, and they will start to take care of the tasks in parallel. So let's say you are updating all the tests or like multiple files which are completely separate but all need the same thing to be done to them. If you prompt it to run in sub-agents, it will spin them around, spin them up, and they will just take care of it in parallel. This can save you like hours of work, which is incredible. I don't know how many of you knew that this is possible in Claude Code. Jergush.
Since yesterday when he told.
So there you go. So only Jergush, and only because I told him already. So I think that like this kind of stuff, like it was very cool to me, and of course no performance throttling. So like competitors which have to obviously do it. So now let's talk about like how we can get the development even better. And this is where MCPs come in. So you probably heard that there is like a model context protocol, which allows any kind of coding agent to connect to also other things which it didn't have access to and use it as a context. For example, if my code, if I'm working on a front-end feature and I'm trying to tell the AI like what I see, then that can a lot of times not be sufficient, right? Because like how can you describe like which button is exactly overlapping which and what kind of weird behavior I'm getting? So instead, there is a browser MCP which you can use, and it allows your Claude code, in this case, to see what you have opened in the tab. And not only that, when you tell it like, hey, like I'm having a problem that when I add in this section, I don't know, like a new node, and then go to the dashboard, it's not there. Guess what it can do? It can literally click on the website. It will just scan it. It will get all the information, CSS, console logs, whole HTML, and then it can go to the sections where it needs to and get the right context. This is incredible because it essentially gives it much more needed information to actually complete the task. Another one, which is database MCPs. Please don't connect your Claude code to the production database, okay? Everyone online also, it's a very bad idea. But if you have development database locally and you have your local database, you can install Postgres MCP or MongoDB MCP. And what happens is that when you give it a task, it suddenly can access the database. So if I tell him, when I open this post and I paste the URL, then it's displaying me wrong date. And then, so obviously the coding agent will first try to take a look at the front end. The data there is going correctly. It's coming from this property. And then it will check like a model. Okay, the model is mapped correctly. Everything works. Maybe the problem is in the database. It can take that ID, which you pasted in the URL. It will parse it. It will use it in the let's say MongoDB, search for this specific record and get all the data and find out like, okay, like, hey, it's displaying data correctly. You just have a wrong information in the database. So it's all about like enriching these agents with the context. And this enables it to give you much better results. And the last one, which not last one, there's actually one more. So another one, which is Serena. You know how when you use your IDE, then like when you click like Shift F12, sorry, I have to do this all the time because if I want to remember the combination, it's just in my fingers, not in my head. So if you want to see with the usages of a function, you click on it and then you Shift F12 and it will like list you like where it is used, right? So your IDE is not doing this on the fly because it would be like very computational demanding. It kind of builds this own map of how the IDE, how all these files are interconnected, and the Sirena gives this access to your coding agent. So if it has to look for some function, it doesn't have to use any more grep or find or whatever function is built in. Serena will pre-process all of this the same way as your IDE, like in IntelliSense, is working, and it will, as I wrote it here, it will give the agent kind of like IDE intelligence, because now when you mention some function, it knows where it's used, and this not only lowers the amount of the requests which have to go to the large language model. It will save you a bunch of money, but it's also much more efficient and much more probable that it will get the good results. It also supports something called memories. I think that maybe you heard about it from the cursor, that they implemented this functionality. It creates it for itself like MD files, which are specifically about your project. And so if it needs to look for some in general information, it can find it there. And again, this makes it much more efficient. So you can see like how developers are now extending these agents to give them more context and more knowledge. So what they are implementing can be then much more easily doable and also save them money. And the last one is Context 7, which everyone who probably tried these agents already got pissed off at one point that I want him to use latest Material UI, but it wrote me some component with the Materia UI 5, right? Or like that it made stuff up because it had no idea how this component looks like. And with the context 7, it will have access to all of the most popular frameworks. So Next.js, Nest.js, Material UI, like everything which you can which is very popular. With this, if you connect this MCP, it will have much better results because now it knows how to build it. So I don't know if you all knew all about all these 4 ones, but I for sure recommend at least to install these ones and set them up. And this is kind of hinting what is the problem within software development companies, because who has time in their daily work to set this up, right? But this we will talk about also later. So, pro tips from my side is that you probably know cursor rules, which is a file where you write your own custom rules about the project. So let's say what kind of approaches it should use, it should not use, how your architecture looks like, what kind of, like, I don't know, like naming convention you use. So something that the coding agent should always enforce. I had quite a lot of problems with the cursor when I was using it, that it a lot of times skipped this. Even though the file was beautiful, right? And I've written as many rules as I could, it always like started to hallucinate at one point. Obviously, it got probably out of the context which was available, and it just didn't apply it all the time. With Claude, my experience is completely different. Usually, like, I don't even know if I found a case where it didn't follow these rules, which is amazing because there are problems. Like, for example, if you use the latest Materia UI, it has different grid component, and it's always making mistakes because Claude Sonnet 4, it was coded, it was not coded, it was trained on the data which didn't include this latest documentation. And it usually generates the component in Materia UI 6, and it's just a pain to always have to fix this and remind him and research it. So if you write it in this file, it will follow it. Then keep files under 500 lines, ideal also less. Even though the context is quite large nowadays, I found out that once you go over certain threshold, like 1,500 lines or something like that, even 1,000 sometimes is enough. It will have hard time to modify these files because suddenly, like, it cannot just like rewrite the whole file. It has to like replace chunks of it, and this is where it usually has problems. So next is updating all dependencies. So what I found out is that as I already described, like these models, they are trained on some specific data in some specific time. If your project is built with older versions of libraries or like any kind of dependencies, you might have problems because it will try to generate it with the latest ones. And what I also recommend, yes, Claude Code, it has built-in planner, so it will try to create a list of things which it should do, and it's following it, and it's very good. One of the features which others right now don't have, but I still sometimes, when it's a bigger task, I ask it to create plan.md file, describe what do you need to do in each step so you don't forget, and check your work, so track your progress. This way, you will get like much better results. And now let's talk about like how we applied it in a real world and what we were able to test it on. So first of all, like we always on the project wanted to migrate to latest Materia UI. Never had time. Nobody had even time or patience to do this kind of stuff because there is like some changes which are annoying to fix and a lot of manual work. It's not obvious like rocket science, but who has time to do that? So I reused the Claude Code. to just migrate me from Materia UI 5 to Materia UI 7. It rewrote all the grid components. It ran until the build was clean green and just everything worked. Like we didn't have to manually update any kind of stuff. I don't know if it was luck or or what. It might be that it makes some mistakes, but you can always correct it as an engineer when you see it's doing something wrong. At one point, you can stop it easily with escape, and then because it's terminal application, and then just tell him like, hey, like you are doing this mistake. Please use this one, and then it corrects itself and continues well. Another thing, migrating from Moment.js. Moment is already obsolete. It should not be used in the projects, but a lot of projects still have it. So if we wanted to use the latest components, it would be good if we are using Day.js. Another case where we just described it and it ran through the whole project, and it was not a small project, there was many files, but it updated it, and also all the usages where the functions had some kind of like built-in logic, and it worked. Then new features, when all of this was finally set up, because I tried it before when it was on the older tech stack, then I could not get a lot of stuff running because it was trying to use the newest ones, the coding agent, and then fixing it and explaining to him like what's going on and how no, we are using different version. And then when you think about like, oh my god, like with every single feature I will have to do this now, like explain to him we rather migrated all this old stuff, and then suddenly feature which would take usually like 2 weeks was done in literally days. Or another case which I will showcase you today is where I think is a lot of cool potential in capable hands of software companies, but also software engineers, which is building your own products. And this whole presentation, which we are talking about today, had this big premise, which I started on the 1st June, where I said myself, okay, I see all these vibe coders making crappy products, but I want to see like what this can do in hands of software engineer who knows what it's doing, right? And I still have full-time job, so I have only like 2 hours here, 2 hours there, and 2 kids, so not really too much time. But I have at least time to run this on the background and prompt it and to add other features. So this application is called increators.com, and as some of you probably know, I like to post and share my thoughts on platform LinkedIn, where I'm talking usually about like leadership and about career in tech. And what you can probably, after what I already told you, imagine like how busy I am and how little time I have to actually even do this as additional thing. So the whole time I was thinking like, where is the tool which would leverage automation, which would manage things for me, which I don't have to necessarily as a content creator do, and where is the tool which would utilize AI to simplify things which I then have to go to a million other applications to do. This is why I gave myself a goal to create a tool which will help content creators to simply manage their content, but also leverages AI to help them be consistent. As we all know, like consistency is what pushes you on platforms. And if you don't have it, like a lot of people don't, also including me, then this is something which can help you. So what you can see right now is what I was able to build in 25 days. And honestly, I didn't have time for the past few days to work on it, so it was probably around 20 days and on the site to work with. So what do you do when you start with the application? It will tell you that you should create your own schedule. And wait, is my backend? Okay, it signed me out already. Great. I didn't log in for a long time. So let's go again. So you go to your schedule, and here you set up which days of the week you want to post and what type of content. So on the right side, you can create your own content tags or create your own ones. And you can say like, okay, on Monday, actually we can go to creation of such schedule. And 1 second. And here in this view, you are able to choose like what is the loop that you want to follow. Like you want to create like every 2 weeks repetition or every 3 weeks or every 1 week. So let's say we will choose 3 weeks. I want to post on Monday. I will say like 9 a.m. and I want to post educational content. Great, it's there. I want to post on Thursdays, and I want to, I don't know, like post at 11, right? And I want to talk about news, for example. Another week, I want to blah, blah, blah. You get the point. So when the schedule is set up, then finally, I don't have to think about the fact that I need to post something because this application does it for me. I will just care about creating the post, tagging it, post is ready, and the engine on the background will the time will come when my post should be sent, posted, and the engine will pick up the post and post it at a specific time. Great. One last thing which I have to think about. So what about creation of the posts? You usually would like to see all your old posts in one place. You can see I have like many posts, which I already have created, specifically 160, which I can see. And this information, I have no freaking chance to see this on LinkedIn because LinkedIn has very limited functionality as far as your profile goes. And what I have to do is that I have to go here, show all posts, and then I have to scroll and wait and scroll. Is it loading? Scroll more. And this is how you get to your content. It's insane. If you want to reuse something, it's useless. So this is why what I used is to create me extension, which will help me at least the first time when I'm loading the website, which will help me scrape all my old posts. So I have to only one time load this whole thing, and then it will import it into my system. And suddenly I can go browse my posts. I can see what I've wrote. So I can open, for example, this one. And come on, there we go. It even loads the videos right now. And here I can see how my posts look like, what was the content. I can, right now the posts which are scraped from LinkedIn, they don't contain the post specific ID, so I cannot edit them, but the application allows editing once you create a post through it. But what I can do is that I can click this and I can reuse the post to actually create a similar one. So if it's like 3 months or old more, then you can simply go and reuse the specific post. Or you can go create your new post. And here you can see like how it would look like on the phone, tablet, desktop, everything. Here I choose the tags which I want to be related with this post. And I can, let's say, upload a picture, right? Downloads. And here we have Drake. Great. So now you can see the post is uploaded to the CDN. It's integrated into the CDN. All of this, guys, was made by AI. I didn't write a single line of code. I just guided it the whole time and told it what to do. And as I said, it was 20 days. Here you can, this is some feature which I want to enhance, but you can like do some basic editing of the picture, change the saturation and so on, add some text. So I hate to go to Canva just to put some text on my picture. So another thing which I will not have to do in the future when I finish this feature, when my agent finishes the feature. And so what I can do right now, I can save it as a draft, and you can see it's here, it's ready. I can open it, and if I'm brave enough, I can publish it, and I will quickly delete it. But you can, where is the post? Is it still not posted? Wait, it worked in the morning. I hope. Wait, is it still in the draft? No, it's not in the draft anymore. Come on. Working the this is the law. Like when you are presenting something, then it doesn't work. I have no idea what happened, but I promise you, this post was already posted by
Did
this.
the AI wrote you some tests?
What?
Did the AI wrote you some tests?
Yes. I have no idea why it didn't get published. Honestly, I have to check it. Okay, sorry. Another feature which I implemented here is that when you are writing notes, like I am doing all the time about my ideas, what I should write about, then I don't have time to get back to them and reuse them. So this is why I created these notes, where you can write like your idea of the post, what it should be about, blah blah blah, and then you just click this button. It will create you a new post with, okay, so this is the content. You can actually still like change it or whatever you want, and then it uses AI to create the post for you. Right now it's generating. I hope all the other features still work. And here you can see it generated me the whole post. So here you can, it's in Slovak. I will not read it right now because this is an English presentation, but you can see clearly that it generated you very nice post just from your idea. And this is just the beginning. So I am adding other features, which is like automated comments on your posts. So in 10 minutes, I want to add another insight so people can interact with it. In 30 minutes, I want to add another one with the picture. All of this stuff, which can be automated, I want to add to this tool. So it makes my life easier. And hopefully, with the help also of other creators and other people who will use the platform, I will be able to get this in hands of users and maybe have a cool product out of it. So let's continue. So the use case, as you can see, which is the coolest one, is starting fresh, because you don't have to fight the old projects which have like a lot of code which is obsolete, which has a lot of custom stuff built into it. But what we found out at Riwers and what we've been testing for over some time is that how can we get from customers' requirements the first prototype as fast as possible. And for the last 2 months, we've been creating, or maybe even more, we've been creating process how to, from the customer's requirements, generate the technical descriptions and requirements, which then can be used to generate the whole front-end prototype. And we've been able to do this quite efficiently. The problem was that developers still had to spend quite a lot of time, like a day and a half, to generate the whole prototype with all these instructions. Just like a week or so ago, Figma came up with Figma Make, and we wanted to know, okay, so can it generate the front end based on our description? And why is it blurred out? Yeah, it's loading. There we go. This is what we got. On the left side, you have essentially the chat window where you can describe the requirements, which were there pasted. And our product owner, then thanks to all these tools, could click on the buttons and stuff and say like, oh, I want this different, I want this, that. This is fully fledged exactly by the customer's requirements as far as the visuals and all the model windows go. The product owner checked it. It didn't forget any kind of model window to create it. It didn't like every button is usable and it has exactly what we described. And it has even some behavior which you can like then test out with your potential customer. This is amazing because instead of spending hours on it, product owner can now create what the customer thinks he wants, and then we can talk with him and show him like, okay, so is this what you want? And we can iterate much faster. This can shorten the software development so much, because a lot of times customer changes his opinion when he finally sees how it's implemented. This costs money. So I will quickly go to the next point, but Figma Make is incredible. And now we are exploring ways how to get this from just this Figma design into the IDE and the coding agent, to actually then get that into the good text stack written. And there is actually Figma MCP. So those are the model context protocols I was talking about, which can then connect to this kind of designs, and then you can actually reuse. Then you can actually then use this design and make it into the code. So I think that like starting fresh, gives you like so many opportunities and create ideas, like from ideas into MVPs in hours. Another example, which we are running out of time, but I will then go faster. I also created like a similar thing, like a toggle, in probably 30 minutes. My friend, he wanted to see like, is it possible to create something where I don't have to, at the end of the day, write like 6 new lines with what I was doing into like my timesheet. And would it be possible to have like a copy, like create like a different application, like a copy of toggle with all this timer and stuff, but with one input where I will just describe like, I was working 2 hours on this, click button, and it will fill out the form. We made this in 30 minutes, and we didn't write again single line of code. Like for idea validation or like prototyping, it's so amazing. And then you can really take it to the next level. If you are a good engineer, you can create fully working products, which to me is amazing. So now let's talk about the roadblocks, like what is stopping you or what is stopping also companies from utilizing this. And that's the main problem, that devs are 100% time busy. So we usually have tasks which are waiting for us like every single day, like there is no end to it. Like we finish a task and there is another awaiting. When do engineers have time to actually then try these tools or implement, or even energy? So this is why I think that they don't have time to experiment, and this is why I think that the companies which want to implement this in their companies need these kind of ambassadors. So choose a person who is passionate about it, who has a lot of technical experience, and who will come and invest some of their time into finding out like how this works, what doesn't, what are the limitations, what are the possibilities, and then just give, these people can then just give the outputs to the team, and we'll be like, okay, here, just run these 3 lines in your code, in your terminal, and you will have this MCP set up because it works amazingly, and he can make a short presentation. This is how you can move and share the knowledge and still keep up. But there needs to be some investment from the company side. Then, one of the last topics which I want to talk about is that there is still a lot of resistance from engineers, because obviously like we want this to be art. Like I always loved coding, and I was coding in many languages even during school, but also afterwards. I was working with C++, I was working with Java, I was working with .NET, JavaScript, like many different coding languages. I love to learn about data structures, and I have as I said, like I studied this in the university, so I understand this aspect. But if we choose not to do anything, then we will be left behind. Because in the future, like this gives us the opportunity, especially the experienced engineers, to bring so much more value. Like imagine, like for example, me, I was not working with the front end for once React changed to from class components to the functional components, and because I started to do leadership roles, I was more involved in on the backend side, and right now, if I wanted to pick this up and suddenly create some kind of front end, I would have to learn all the changes which were there, all the parameters there. But like I know how the good front end code looks. I probably also know like much more CSS properties than the young person who made who went through the latest course of how React works. But I don't have to now be held back by the fact that just the technology a little bit changed. And this gives me the opportunity to build things like I showed you guys. And I think that this is the point that right now, even the backend engineer with little bit of experience on the front end would be able to get the product prototype or like first version or whatever you need, like get up and running. And in the future, I think the developers will be able to do much more as a single developers than they were used to. And this is it's up to you. Like you can choose to ignore this, you can choose to laugh at this, but you know, it's so easy to take a look at the new technology and find the flaws and find what is not working. I myself am digging through this, excuse me, but sometimes shit what these AI models can generate for over 2 months. And I found a lot of cases where it just like made me angry and I wanted to like throw away the computer. But then I just restart and continue. And I don't care what it cannot do. I care what it can do. And this is all up to us what kind of mindset we want to have and how fast we want to move. Because this gives us opportunity, even build products on the side, or be more efficient, or bring the more value to the companies where then we can be valued more. So I would say stop being a skeptic and really try to find out like how you can benefit from this and not how it doesn't work. So thank you very much for your attention. And right now, if you want to connect with me, here's a QR code with my LinkedIn. I would be very happy to talk with you also right now after this session, but also online if you want to connect with me. And now we can get to your questions if there are any in the Slido. So the first question is, do you think the MCP can be a new communication protocol between front-end and back-end? So MCPs are not specifically built like to communicate between services, but what you can do is that if your AI agent has access to the front-end and back-end code base, then it also needs the context of what is running then actually in the browser. And this is, for example, what the browser MCP is very good for, but there will be probably even better tools in very near future. And what is also incredible, I saw prototypes of people who created the agent, which was able to load the page, it scanned it saw all the inputs, and then it started to write automation tests. So like filled out the input, filled out another one, tried all the use cases, and as it was running, it wrote those Cypress or what was it, Playwright tests. I have no idea which ones they were, and it essentially was the automation. It was like a manual tester which at the same time creates automation tests, because that makes sense. This is what will happen in the near future and what we can use to make applications better, because obviously we have a lot of customers who as a software development companies who don't like to spend money on testers or don't like to spend money on testing, and it usually backfires. But in the future, we will have agents which can cover at least some of this, or you will need one automation tester who will then orchestrate all of this, just like software engineers can now orchestrate the AI to build the code. Then isn't there a risk that if company sees that this AI can boost me a lot, that they will expect much more from me. Yes, that's kind of a problem, right? Yes, I think that in the long run, it's more dangerous to not know like what to do. So I know some engineers who already use this in companies which are like far behind, and they are not using these AI tools like officially, and the developers are using them. They finish their tasks instead of the 8 hours in like 2 hours, and then just have a nice rest of the day, right? So or maybe even work for multiple companies. So I would be concerned about this maybe more in the future and try to figure out like how to benefit from it right now, because what can you do? Like when it becomes the standard and the companies will know how to implement it, and the expectation will come, it will come to the whole market. Like they will expect every developer to use this. And like imagine coming to the interview even today and saying that I don't use ChatGPT, like, or I don't use AI at all. I just do everything manually. A lot of companies already expect this to be like a basic for you to have a basic knowledge how to leverage this. The next question: where is it better to send a company's confidential data? American or Chinese AI agents? Yeah, this is very good question. You know why? Because what do we see in a lot of customers? They are very concerned about their data, and they are like, "Oh, I don't want to use AI because I'm afraid that they will steal all my data." Uh, the same companies which you are talking about, like for example Copilot, already stores all your data in GitHub. So they will not have any different data than they already have. So if you already trust them, then and nothing changes. All of these models and AI coding agents, they already have, when you are paying customer, in all the conditions that they will not use this data. If you trust them to store your data, like all these other companies, Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, whatever, then I see no reason like pose a philosophical questions. But what if this one takes my data and steals it or reuses it? And I think that it's even more dangerous to think that because of this we are not doing anything with the AI, and we are like slowing our development and risking that in a few years we will be obsolete. So this is, and if you want to choose American or Chinese LM, I will leave it up to you. The last question: what will be possible in software development though through AI in 2 to 3 years from now? Okay. That's very hard to say. I think that we will have big issues with the new generation, because right now, all of the stuff which you used to give to junior software engineers, it's gone. Like I remember when I started in my first job, and I already had a lot of experience like freelancing. Uh, at the beginning, they were giving me basic tasks like move this button here, change this there, and like all of this training which you usually have at the beginning, it's gone. Like why would you invest time and give it to some junior if, especially this basic stuff, large language models or AI coding agents can just do in a matter of seconds? Like it's good for them to learn it, but who will invest the time? So the the pressure on engineers to already know, or the expectation will be much higher than in the past. And this is why I hope that universities come in and get people already ready ahead of time. So I think that like a lot of people were telling you like, "Oh, university is useless. You can be a coder without it." And da, 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 da. Yes, you can. But like right now, there are a lot of developers on the market who cannot find a job exactly because of the optimizations which are expected and are happening. But but so the companies will we obviously choose the person who either has experience or education compared to the one who doesn't. But I think in the future the universities will have to already provide this. And how the development will look like, this will be very interesting, because if applications that you can make today are so easy to make already, then the simple ones there will be no business there. Like it will be so cheap to get good, not like shitty, like a front end generated from Lovable or V0 prototype code done. Like no, you will already get good quality applications through some freelancer who will, instead of right now which would charge you like 3,000 euros, you will pay 100, right? And he will just be spitting them out like this. He will just generate it and then just check it and somehow like ship it as is. So I think that there's still a lot of code which is old and obviously cannot be serviced by AIs. And I even doubt that it will be able to, because like even developer has trouble finding themselves in 2,000 lines of code in one service, right? But the new stuff will be impacted the most. And I think that if companies want to leverage AI, they for sure need to start to refactor and get everything to the newest technologies, because they might really be then burning money which could have been invested somewhere else. So yes, right now they have to make the investment to refactor or move to the new technological tech stack, but in the future they will not. They will be saving a lot of money. So I still hope, and I think that it will be, that we will keep the core essence of what is software engineering, of like how good data structure should look like, how it should work. I and because like the engineering, these large language models cannot do everything. Like you need somebody who will, as I say, orchestrate it. So I think that the work will be more orchestration than the manual coding, and then you will review more time, review the code, and then we are going back to the question like, but how do people then learn how to review the code if they never do it manually? And this is a big problem which we'll probably face not in the 3 years, but once I am retired and all these generations which had to manually code a lot of stuff, that will be a big problem. But who knows? Like the tech you can see how fast it's moving. Like maybe in that future it will not be a problem. So that was the last question. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Also, everyone for joining online, for your questions, and also that so many of you came here in person. And if you are watching this online, then thank you very much for watching. And if you would like to get in touch with us, you will see also at the end of this video QR code which you can scan and get personally in touch with me. So thank you guys, and yeah, have a nice day. And everyone who is here, I think that pizza should already be here. So enjoy.